Lunchbox by Abigail. So yeah, Abigail is joining me on the line right now. Abigail Munyai, such an amazing person. This does a lot. Minister, author, motivational speaker. Oh, this is endless. She's on the line right now. Good afternoon, Abigail, and welcome to the Lunchbox. Oh, okay. Well, that's that. Man, Abigail, what happened today? Frank Majestic, do you have an explanation? Or maybe, I don't think it's technology getting the better of me. No way, it doesn't happen like that this side. Let me get Abigail back on the line. Hoping that is not a case of a bad network reception or something like that. Yeah, seems like it has worked out very well. Good afternoon, Abigail, and welcome to the Lunchbox.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, and yourself?
I'm great, thank you.
Lovely, man. So now let's get down to the order of the day, right? So before we look into the book that you wrote, let's talk about Abigail first. You know, for a lot of people that are hearing you for the first time, in your own words, how would you describe yourself? Who would you say, who is Abigail?
Wow, that's a very complex question.
Okay.
Because Abigail is a preacher's kid, right?
Yeah.
Who grew up in the small town of Louis-Tricas. And by the mercy and the grace of God, you know, she went through so many trials and tribulations to define who she is now. And today she's a minister of the Word of God. You know, she's a motivational speaker. She's a counselor. She's a published author. That's who she is today. You know, and that's why I say it's such a complex question, because to define her, we need to take into consideration all the intrinsics.
I see. Yeah, there's a lot that you do. So now, Abigail, you are an author. You have a book. So before we get into talking about the book, right? If you can tell us what goes into writing a book, what sort of expertise does one need to have before attempting to write one?
Oh, Frank, you know, I published my own book, right? So I did everything for myself. And I mean, we had to work with the book cover designer, you know, give her the detail and the specs of how I wanted it to look. So you have to be artistic in knowing what you want, you know, on the outside, because the reader sees your book and they must be drawn to it. So first of all, that's one skill. And another thing is you need to know your target market. So you need to know from what point or from what angle you are writing from.
Yeah.
So you need the basic writing skills. And I edited my own book. So I also had to have the skills of editing, you know, the knowledge of grammar, punctuation, and all of that, so that it meets the standard, you know, of a good book, you know.
Yeah. So I see. So it's one of those. It's a book that when you look into, I don't know if you call it a credit on books or it's a reference. It says everything. It says Abigail Munyai, from author, editor, publisher.
editor. You know, at some point I actually outsourced the deco, you know, the design of the book. To someone else, because I had an idea, but remember, I don't actually have an artistic background. I can't draw. I can't put into a picture what I actually envision in my mind. So yes, you have to know what you want, but also be able to communicate it so that someone else can execute it for you. So yeah, it's gonna be the Abigail. Because that's what it is.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Very odd, amazing stuff. So now, Abigail, do you think it's easier to write a book that speaks about your own personal life experiences compared to writing, say, that a novel or an autobiography, or is it more difficult because it involves sharing of very private details about yourself and your family?
You said it. When you're writing about yourself, there's a lot of areas that you don't want to necessarily expose.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I think this was the best route to go, because it's a book series. So it's not one book and it's not done once you've read the first one. So the story continues into the next 6 books.
Yeah.
So it's 7 in completion. And I think that works well with me because I'm living life continuously on a daily basis. So I always have content. I always have some way to draw the inspiration from.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're writing fiction or something like that, you have to really have an imaginative mind,
Yeah.
a creative mind that can keep the story going and at the same time keep it interesting, because you need to keep your readers drawn.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll definitely go with what I went with, which I even struggled to sort of, categorize, because it's a book novel, but it's about me. So it's sort of like a biography.
Yeah.
But then it's got poems inside and open letters. So it sort of steals from all the different genres or the different categories at the same time.
Nice. So now, did you at any point where you were writing the book thought of like, here I think I am sharing too much. Stop, let me take this out. Did you have to censor yourself?
A million times. because if I were to give the information raw as it was, I'd make a lot of enemies, because people hate the truth, and unfortunately that's the truth about it. People don't actually want the truth, and in my life I'm writing about all the experiences I've been through, so unfortunately that means I have to narrate incidents as they occurred, meaning I must explain the characteristics and everything. But I had to find a way to do it without disrespecting the other party. Telling the truth, but keeping that barrier line of respect and not necessarily degrading someone's integrity, but not diluting the truth.
No, right, I see. So you do want to give the truth blatantly. So, as people sometimes, the saying that says that the truth, it's something like that. So you have to find a way to sugarcoat it, but also have to get the point across. Nice. So now, let's talk about the book. What is it called? What is it all about?
Okay, so the book is a book series, so it's actually 7 books. What we have published now is actually the first of the 7.
Nice.
It is called From the View of a Preacher's Kid.
Okay.
Because from the view of a preacher's kid. So basically, just like the name suggests, it's a story about life from the view of a preacher's kid.
Yes.
And generally, preacher's kids growing up, I think they can all agree to this, that we have a certain pressure from the community, a certain pressure from everyone and everything around us. They expect us to be perfect and holy, no making mistakes. And everybody just assumes you're Christian, right? Because you're born into, but that's not necessarily the case. And for me, I went through a trail of events. I lost my parents at a young age from an orphan. I had a child out of wedlock. And then because of the pressures, once again from community, I ended up paying my own lobola just so that I could get married and, deal with some of that.
Okay.
But once again, you heard me correctly.
Oh, yes, carry on.
So I explain all of that, my abusive marriage and then the divorce.
Yeah.
And meeting my current partner, having children, prophecies that were spoken into my life. And of course, the most important thing, meeting Christ for myself.
Yeah.
So it's one of those books that fits everybody because there's a little bit of everything in it. All the current affairs are covered in there, and it covered all the age ranges because I actually started writing when I was 13.
Yeah.
So, it's quite an interesting read. There's no getting bored because I write from 2 points of view, from the present and the past. And it's in third person. So it's very, very interesting.
Nice, I see, man. Seems like a very interesting book to read. So now, speaking about the book, right? How can one get their hands how can they get their hands on it? So now, how do they get hold of the book? If it's on sale, where do they find it?
Well, that's a good question. The book is available on Take-A-Lot. You can order it from Take-A-Lot.
Nice.
You can order it from Amazon, and by Amazon, I mean internationally. I'm talking the UK, Australia, United States. Yeah, you can get it from Barnes & Noble. So you can get it internationally. You can get yourself a hard copy, but we also do have a digital copy.
Yeah.
And we also have, an audio book on the way. So at the moment you can get it anyhow, anywhere, at any time.
Wow, that's amazing for a self-written, self-edited, self-published, self-distributed. That's a lot, man. That's a lovely work. So now, for people, how do they contact you if you have your social media platforms? Where do they follow you to find out more about you and your book?
I'm available on Instagram. My handle is Abigail Munyai. I am available on Facebook. My personal one is Abigail Munyai. And then I've got a page on Facebook. It's titled From the View of a Preacher's Kid. I've got 2 YouTube channels. The one is called Church Talk. And the other is called Abigail Munyai. So I'm very much available. Contact me. I'm always there.
Ah, lovely, man. Some serious work is being put in here. Definitely. Listen, Abigail, thank you very much for taking your time and joining me on the Lunchbox. And best of luck on your book with the series to come. And hopefully that will inspire you to write more books going forward.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor.
All right, cheers.